Good evening, everyone.
Good
Third
evening,
of
sir.
2021, we meet once again for the 9th time, and we start off with our customary video, which depicts the different culture and the scientific activity of EIZOC. I'll request Mr. Rahul to please share the video, and for the convenience of the panelists, I'll share the video from my side.
হচ্ছে না ওইটা হচ্ছে আমার যেটা চলছে না এই স্ক্রিনটা বড় করো স্ক্রিনটা বড় করো এবার এটা দিয়ে কাজ
Okay, thank you. This was a beautiful presentation created by Ms. Kapti from Calcutta itself. With this, we move on, and I request our Honorable President, Dr. Abhijit Ghosh, to give his presidential address and welcome all the viewers.
Okay, thank you, Pranav.
Panelists and the speakers.
Thank you, Pranav. Is it okay for me? Can I speak?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Thank you. Well, dear all, a very good evening to you once again. Welcome to this edition of the Voice of the East, which is the 9th of its kind, as Pranav has said. This is a very impressive program, I would suppose, and it's a great height. The intention of this program, as you know, is to showcase our Eastern work, what we do, and also lay a stepping stone for the juniors. It has also another interest because we see each other's face, all these seniors in this world. It's wonderful to see all these people once in a while. So friends, this evening is going to be, the subject is fantastic and we have wonderful speakers. All of them are young and extremely talented boys. heading it, which is the ebullient and great Ojoy, the flamboyant person whom I love so much. Because I can see Arup and all others. Please enjoy yourself. Today, this evening, someone has to mute the mic, please. Someone is. Please mute yourself. Please mute.
Please mute this voice.
Okay. This evening is going to be, the host will be West Bengal, incidentally my home state, but after these years of presidency, I feel I do not only belong to the home state at all. Because I have friends like Pranav, I have friends like Kashyap, I have friends like Paul, and we holistically feel we are a person of the East. Is it, Pranav? It is also, I feel great to welcome, to felicitate my young guru from my childhood, Dr. Panalal Shah, who will be felicitated today from West Bengal. He needs no introduction, as I know him from the years of my residency. He's always been a friend, philosopher, and great guide, and he's a wonderful man. I tell you, this is our tribute to this wonderful man. Welcome, Panada. I also have the pride privilege of welcoming another person, Dr. Kajal Prasad Ghosh, who is incidentally our president now. Kajal is a marvelous man, very introvert, very docile, but inside him, he's got a great heart and he's got a great feeling. I can tell you, he's one of the finest men I've ever met. We must have Subhashish also. So, friends, I welcome you all to this wonderful evening. Please enjoy. Thank you.
Dr. Pranav, please unmute yourself.
Satish, sorry I couldn't see you.
Thank you, President Sir, Dr. Abhijit Ghosh Sir. So we meet for the 9th time today on this magical platform that the COVID has given us. One good thing happening during the torrid time we had last year. Today we are being futuristic, and discussion on flags will go a long way on moving the fence sitters, I being one of them. The galaxy of speakers and panelists, I hope, will infuse and instill all the confidence that is required. And before we move on to with the talks, few announcements have to be made. EIZOC MidCon will be held in the month of May at Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. Skill transfer course on a virtual platform will start from this month. The annual conference will be held in Puri either in October or September or October of this year. I appeal to all the members of EIZOC to register for the All India Ophthalmic Congress, which is going to be held in Calcutta. An early bird registration has been extended to 15th of March. I request everybody from all the states, 12 states, to participate in a big number to make it really successful. The next EIZOC webinar will be hosted by the Northeast state in the month of April. And I also welcome the speakers, Dr. B.P. Kashyap, Dr. Kasturi Bhattacharya, Dr. Harish Shankar Roy, Nag, Dr. Ajay Paul, and the panelists, Dr. Sangeeta Kalita, Dr. Anurag Mishra, Dr. Arup Bhomik, Dr. Ayan Mohanta, Dr. Sujit Mishra. Let's have a grand evening tonight. With this, I request the Chairman Scientific Committee of EIZOC, Dr. Debashish Das, to speak a few words about what he has in his mind for the future. Dr. Debashish Das, please.
Good evening, everybody. What I'll say is the repetition what I have said earlier in the previous programs. basically, this is an opportunity for the East Zone to come together and to work together and to enjoy together. We already know it's a fortnightly evening online programs initially, but now it is with the pandemic going away, and presently we are planning sponsors entered have allowed us or rather agreed for this monthly programs over this whole year. So this program will be continuing as it is in the same sequence of order over the whole of this year. However, it will not be fortnightly, it will henceforward be a monthly program. And again, it will be remaining on Wednesday evenings. The alternate two academic programs will be followed by one secretarial program as was decided earlier. The responsibility of the academic programs will be given to one state at a time, flowing down in alphabetical order. The state in charge of the academic program will put their main thrust on the younger generations, then on the established speakers and academicians. The state organizing the academic program will keep half of the speakers from their states and remaining half from the other respective states. We will have other issues like didactic lectures, debates, and quizzes. Initially started with Sudip Sinha, NLP mind training program, neuro-linguistic programming, and then we moved over. We had Assam, Bihar, secretarial program, Jharkhand, Odisha, again a secretarial program, and today we have in Flax today, followed by Northeast, and then we will again repeat the cycle this year again in the same sequence of order. The new tradition we had started over this lockdown period is felicitating one of the senior members of the host state during this webinar. Initially, we all felicitated advisors of the respective states. This will then be followed by other senior members also. In the last two sessions, we felicitated Dr. B.K. Sahai and Dr. S.C. Das. And today it is our honor to felicitate Dr. Pannalal Shah. With this, I hand over to our moderators, to our secretary, to introduce our special invitees for the programs today and to introduce Dr. P.L. Shah, whom we will felicitate today evening.
Thank you, Dr. Debashis Das.
Thank you, sir.
And as a recently introduced customary, we have been inviting the state president and the secretary in which the webinar is being held. Now, this being West Bengal's turn, so we have the honor of inviting the president and secretary of OSWB, and the OSWB president, Dr. Kajal Prasad Ghosh. May I request him to speak a few words?
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Bardhan. Thank you, all the dignitaries who are listening to the webinar. At the very outset, I thank EIZOC for inviting me for this webinar. Though not actively, but still, I have been following the activities of the society since its inception in the inaugural program held in Ramakrishna Mission Seva Pratishthan in Calcutta in 80s. It is essential that all our eastern states develop a high level of camaraderie and fellowship in order to make our presence felt in the Indian scenario. Our present generation have proved that they have all the skills to be at par with the national and international fraternity. The concept of periodical webinars involving individual states is very innovative and helps to bring our new talents. It is also laudable that Pannalal Shah is being felicitated today for his outstanding contribution towards EIZOC. I thank the dynamic leadership of EIZOC towards an endeavor to elevate this association to great heights. Today, our subject is flags. My dear friends, the introduction of femto laser in ophthalmology in 2001 promised to revolutionize the field with its high precision and safety level and its multifaceted utility. Used initially in the field of refractive surgery, its high-tech precision promised to bring a paradigm shift in the field of cataract surgery as well, ushering the era of refractive cataract surgery. Let us now introspect how much of that has translated into reality. Thank you very much. With these few words, I thank you again before I finish.
Thank you, Dr. Kajalda. And we move on with the address of the Secretary of OSWB, Dr. Subhashish Nag, who incidentally also is the Organizing Secretary of All India AIOC Calcutta. I think I just got an information that he's not keeping well. So on his behalf, Dr. Kanti Biswas, who is the Joint Secretary of OSWB, will place his views. Dr. Rupak Kanti Biswas, please.
Sir, good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Rupak. All the best.
Yeah. Sir, on behalf of, first I would like to thank EIZOC for inviting us for today's program. And this is the most important topic of today's present scenario from the cataract point of view. And on behalf of Dr. Subhashish Nag, I would like to thank all the EIZOC members for giving this opportunity today. Also, I would like to mention here specifically that the upcoming AIOS in Kolkata is happening from 24th to 27th of June, as you all know. So would like to get the fullest cooperation from you all, like what we had earlier also. So we'll just put our hands together to make it more successful, sir. And request all of you and all the EIZOC member to register, and all the EIZOC member and non-member as well to register for this conference, because this is going to be a physical conference and we need to make it more and more successful. So we need to have a fullest presence of all of us. I would like to thank, and then please proceed for today's program, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rupak. And we also have started a new tradition of felicitating, as already mentioned by our President and Chairman Scientific Committee, a senior person of that particular state in which the webinar is being held. And it is the turn of Dr. Pannalal Shah, and Dr. Pannalal Shah is a very senior person, a senior member of
Sir, your slide is not there, sir.
It's just uploading.
Yes, sir.
So here it goes. He is a founder member of EIZOC, which was formed in 1985 along with stalwarts like Dr. Ranveer Mukherjee, Dr. L.C. Datta, Dr. A.N. Pandya, Dr. U.C. Behera, Dr. M. Lala Singh, and Dr. K.R. Datta.
Slide is not there.
He was the second Secretary General of the Society, and he became the President of EIZOC in 2014. Even though the Society was financially weak, he was instrumental in keeping it vibrant. With these few words, these are bouquet of roses, which I present on behalf of EIZOC family to Dr. Pannalal Shah, and I request on behalf of President and the Society and the office bearers, Dr. Pannalal Shah, to speak a few words. Dr. Pannalal Shah, sir.
Pannada, please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Unmute.
Hello,
Ah.
can you hear?
Yeah, you, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Pranav. And also I thanks to the present committee. I feel honored, definitely, and for felicitating me. And you see, actually, everybody knows without very hard constraint, we just run our this is, Eastern India Congress, and definitely we are also taking the help from the most of the senior of the then, and I got that the blessing and affection from the all the stalwarts. Mainly, I like to mention Professor Ranabir Mukherjee and also Dr. N. Pandey and Dr. L.C. Dotto and Dr. M. Lala Singh and Dr. Ajit Sinha, the father of Satyajit Sinha, and they are also help us a lot. And not that, uh, actually, during my period, uh, that is financially, we are remain all the we always remain in a weak position, but still we are trying to maintain our their identity. This and that is and now by the hard copy we are to contact with each other. I personally, whenever it is possible, and I also visit to the different state and contact with the young and younger uh, colleague also. And definitely, uh, it also gave me inspiration. I inspired all the young ophthalmologists of the different state, and they also help us a lot. And I like to mention the one name, Dr. Himanshu Rajguru. He also helped me a lot. And Dr. Ajit Sinha also all the time encouraged me. Uh, Dr. Shah, uh, continue. And I also personally behind you. And he actually personally collected so many money and he was the editor during my tenure. Now, I don't like to uh, say anymore anything. Everybody knows this thing, how we are also running our job. At present, and we are also with the digital process and digital advancement, and we can contact easily with each other. Even with the webinar, we are also conducting the scientific program and everything. And with this, I think that everybody is waiting for the beautiful scientific program. Thank you very much again for felicitating me. Thank you.
So thank you so much, sir. We are all honored to have you here today, sir. And with this, I hand over the program to the Chairman Scientific Committee to continue with the webinar. Dr. Devashish Das.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I hand over the whole program, entire program to our moderators, Dr. Shukato Paul and Dr. Sudipta Mitra, to continue with the lectures and the following discussions. Dr. Shukato, Sudipta, please.
Good evening, Devashishda, and good evening, all the dignitaries from EIZOC. It is a great pleasure for me to be here. So we have an interesting session today. Is Sudipta here? Has Sudipta able to join yet?
Yes,
Yes,
Sudipta
yes.
is here.
Yes,
Please.
Sudipta. So do you want to introduce? What I do, I'll
You
share.
introduce the panelists. I'll do one by one the speakers. You introduce the panelists.
I'll just share the slide. Is my slide visible?
No.
So I hope it's visible now.
No, no, no.
Not yet. Not yet. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So we have Dr. Arup Bhomik as panelist. We have Dr. Arup Bhomik, who is a senior consultant at Disha Eye Hospital. It's taking bit. Okay. Why is not moving? Then we have Dr. Oyan Mohanto, again a senior consultant, very well-known face, both Arup and Oyan in this part of the world. He is also senior consultant in Disha Eye Hospital. We have Dr. Sangeeta Kalita as panelist. She is consultant at Shankaradeva Eye Hospital, and she has done her fellowship from Shushruth and also Chennai Shankarnath. So she partly belongs to OSWB as well. And we have very vibrant Dr. Anurag Mishra, a very well-known face again in this part of the world and also in whole of India from Odisha. And we have Dr. Sujit Mishra, who is also a consultant from Bihar. I don't have the CV at the moment. So he is also one of our panelists. Next, we have the speaker whom Dr. Sudipta will introduce. Sudipta, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Shugato.
Yeah.
I have the honor of introducing Dr. BP Kashyap, who is going to be our first speaker. And Dr. Kashyap is also very well known in the Eastern region because he's beheaded most of the ophthalmological societies, Jharkhand, and here also Bihar. And he's also been a secretary of the IMA. And he has the honor of having his hospital first accredited with NABH. He has special interest in FLACS, femto-assisted laser cataract surgery, although he also practices oculoplasty and cataract. So without wasting much time, we would request Dr. Kashyap to share his presentation and go ahead. Dr. Kashyap.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. First of all, let me thank the EIZOC, Dr. Sugata Paul, and Dr. Pranav to have given me this opportunity to present my paper on my lovely topic, that is flax. Now, friends, I'll be asking you also some questions. The problem is all that glitters may not be gold, but looks good. Flax came to Indian market approximately 9 to 10 years back, and it promised a lot of things. It said that it gives a good corneal incision. You can give a uniplanar, biplanar, triplanar, corneal incision, clear corneal incision. You can also give arcuate corneal incision for astigmatism. You can give a good capsular access for in difficult situations like subluxated lens, white cataract, intermittent cataract in which you want to avoid the Argentinian flag sign. And you can do a good nucleus management by chop technique, by the pizza technique, the frac technique, and circular cuts and all that. Ultimately, what it promised is it'll make the cataract surgery very, very easy. But it involved a lot of other things also. It involved the image guided system known as Varion for a better result. It involved the IL master for the accuracy of the LPAR, the Centurion frequency system, which collaborate with the Lensex system with the Varion, so that you get all those parameters on your machine. You have to have a supporting microscope which gives the image of the eye, and then eye test aberrometer to see the angle kappa and angle alpha, whether you should be using a multifocal or not. But these things were going on worldwide. In every conference, people are talking about the flax. So the ESCR, there was a study, and it evaluated all the femtosecond laser platform for flax and concluded that these are excellent tool for capsular access. Now, when it came to capsular access, now people started corneal mark make by sharp rings of different optical zone, and then they did the rexes. And then our senior Dr. David Chang, he talked about Zapto. I don't do Zapto. These are the pictures sent to me by Dr. S.K. Mitra Jamshedpur, a very good friend of mine. So in first picture, you see that the Zapto is being done. And in second picture, you can see that he is extending that rhexis and it is not getting torn. Quite commendable, fantastic. Does it happen in flax? I don't think so. Now, there are a lot of difficult situations. Difficult situations maybe for flax may not be difficult for a normal cataract surgery. And the difficult situations could be machine related and it adds to the cost. You have to have a separate room for this flax. The temperature has to be maintained at 20 degrees Celsius and then humidity around 50. You cannot do a normal room sterilization. And the machine can go wrong anywhere from joysticks to any part and it may trouble you. Laser fired once through the PI, it becomes non-functional. The procedure may not be complete and you cannot reuse it. Immediate services are not humanly possible because if you have any problem, they cannot come to you. They'll come to you when you don't have a case. So I know it's not their problem, it's not their mistake, but then it is not humanly possible. And it takes more than 50 cases to calibrate your machine to match you. There are a lot of patient-related difficult situations like deep socket eyes might be difficult for the flax, but can we do it in normal case? Yes. Uncommandable postures like kyphosis and scoliosis, it is difficult for the flax, but can we do it in normal surgery? Yes. Back full white looking cataract, the nucleotomy will not happen in this case in flax. Is it not easy for the normal surgery? Yes, it is. The cataract with the enterocapsular calcification, it will be difficult for the flax to do the rhexis. Is it difficult for the normal surgery? No, we can do it easily. And cataract with the fibrosis, especially in traumatic cataract, when you're going to do the rhexis, these fibrous zones will have a non-cut. But in normal surgeries, there's no problem for us. And then in the corneal opacity, the flax will not work, but our experts can do it easily. The senile arcus senilis, they will not give a corneal cut in flax, but can we do it? Yes, easily. In case of congenital pathology like pterygium, the flax will not do the docking. Can we do it in a normal surgery? Yes, easily, no problem. Congenital bleb for glaucoma, it will be difficult for docking. Can you do it in normal surgery? Yes, very nicely we can do it. So the pupil, the anterior capsule, and the nucleus, this is the tribe. Dilated pupil is a must. The pupil has to be dilated. But we must not have more than one complex situations, otherwise you cannot complete the flax. A classification of operability is suggested based on the tribe and an annual conference of IIRSI. Apart from all these, everything is fine. Apart from all this, in flax, what more problems we have? We may have a corneal folds, and then we'll have non-cutting problems. The flax will not cut those areas in folds. Then you might get an incomplete rhexis for no rhyme or reasons. We'll have to find out after doing all this thing, you'll have to find out why did it happen. Keep on looking for why did it happen. And then when there's an air trap in between the PI and the cornea, that will remain uncut. And femtosecond laser makes only scratches on Indian hard nucleus. We have hard nucleus. If there's a less than 41 diopter flat or more than 46 steep cornea, troubles you for docking. Even after specially made contact lenses used in PI, they have made special contact lenses, but it doesn't work properly. Cost factor, yes, one-time money and lens bundling, etc. The recurrent expenditure on PI, they say we'll get 4 free for 11 and 200 free for 300 PIs. I'm talking with the Sushruta people, Dr. R.C. Paul, he said that since he's using more than 300 PIs, so he'll purchase that and give it to me or give it to people, if they require, so that the cost of PI comes down. And look at the CMC. CMC is more than 20 to 25 lakhs rupees per month, per year. This is tremendous. And running and maintaining the cost of AC is too high. And the time taken for surgery is at least double. That too at the cost of constitution of people. Post FSL, that is femtosecond laser. Keeping LASIK and FLAC is comparable. FLACS has an advantage that they have, that every person has to go under cataract surgery and they can choose they want to go for normal surgery or they want FLACS. Unlike LASIK is optional. People may not go for the refractive surgery. So thank you very much. I think I have put my points forward that how to, I don't think this is viable. And you judge yourself. There are a lot of situations which is normal. We can tackle it, but then if you are doing FLACS, it is very, very difficult. The rexus is not that good and strong. There are a lot of points. People may say that if this is the problem, this is the answer, but then why look for this? And after spending so much of money, probably the FLACS is a good platform for the future surgeries. So let it grow, let it do more research, let them come with a good machine which works in all situations rather than giving us the primitive machine which needs a lot of correction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have beautifully made your point that FLACS has some limitations, but still I would say, since you are a FLACS surgeon, do you enjoy doing FLACS or do you enjoy doing simple phaco without FLACS? Do you at all enjoy doing FLACS?
Madam, the thing is, whenever I do FLACS, my palpitation is high. My heart beats more because the patient has paid more. I cannot do, after nucleotomy, the irrigation aspiration part is also becomes tough if the pupil slightly even, the constricts. The some part of the cortical matters, they get adhered to the capsule and then you had it. There's a lot of problems. Yes, just to say that you are doing the best surgery of the world. Yes, I'm happy. People come to me, sir, I want the best. I'm happy. But then,
right.
High. Yes, it's high. I do agree. I say so.
Yes, sir. That is what I was asking, to incorporate for practice update and for one's own knowledge. Maybe definitely. I would like the panelists here to share some of their views on this. Like, should we incorporate FLACS in our system? And as young surgeons, should we upgrade our system from a simple phaco to FLACS followed by phaco? So any one of the panelists here, if you can kindly give us some views on that. I see many of them here. Dr. Mishra, I can see you. Yes. Yes, sir. Please go on.
Well, throughout the presentation of Dr. Kashyap, I was just benignly nodding my head in the horizontal direction. And needless to mention, I don't agree with most of the points that he has made. See, this is like, if there's a cloudy weather, then it's easier to travel on a train than to fly because the airplane is likely to give you turbulence. The train travels smooth. But the train is a primitive mode of travel and the flight is supposed to take you faster there. There are bottlenecks in every mode of technology that has been presented to us. You get an iPhone and jump over from the simpler phones, it would also give you jitters initially till you get adjusted to the feel of it. So I do agree that there are situations wherein FLACS is not suitable. But then having said that, are there situations wherein phaco is not the most suitable procedure? You go back to SICS and the more primitive surgical methods to do them off even in a better way. So arguments can be put forward that way too. Having said that, if the question is, do I enjoy doing FLACS? I thoroughly enjoy doing FLACS because FLACS is what I call the reason why I got it installed in my setup. I was never a person who had got resources as much as Dr. Kashyap did. but I got it installed in my setup just because I wanted to have my share of what I call as the technocrats fun. It is really a lot of fun to work with that machine. It's phenomenal to see a light ray, causing a crack of the nucleus. I don't agree to the point that corneal folds do cause incomplete burns and incomplete rexes. They don't. Even if you have folds, the solid state logging on is so catchy nowadays and so tight nowadays that it usually fires. But about traumatic cataracts, hard cataracts, where you have dense nuclear sclerosis, switch off the nucleotomy and do off the capsule and the corneal application. The corneal applications are fantastic. Flax is one procedure wherein I don't have to hydrate the stroma near the main wound. The side ports would do it comfortably. The energy required is much less. So I would happily keep on using flax for the rest of my life if possible. The other cost issues and other things notwithstanding, and if they do not bother me too much in the future ever, I would love continuing with the machine for the rest of my life.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Anurag.
Excellent,
Nice.
Dr. Anurag, you've just said something which I too feel there's a very big wow factor when you have that nucleus cut through flax, and really looks beautiful. Anyway, we have other panelists as well. So, Dr. Shujit Mishra, would you like to put in your views?
Dr. Anurag, how much offset factor you keep for hard cataract?
If it's a dense nuclear sclerosis where I see that it's not transparent and the laser beam cannot reach the posterior plate of the nucleus, I simply switch off my nuclear applications. I just do the rexis, the corneal applications, come out and do the nucleotomy with the phaco, because what it does is, irrespective of the offset factor you keep, it does not travel deep. It produces very superficial scratches, as Dr. Kashyap was also mentioning. If you do a grid at the center, then it weakens the superficial plane, and the phaco probe travels to the deep part of the nucleus very easily. So the hold becomes poor. So I normally switch off. But as far as the offset factor is concerned, in normal cases where I'm expected to get good pies and good chopping patterns, I normally keep it close to 200 microns from the posterior capsule. The view zone is 200 microns from the posterior capsule.
Thank you, Anurag. Oyon or Arup, do you think flax is viable only in big cities like Calcutta or Bhubaneswar, or it can be done in any of the small cities of India or towns of India? Oyon or Arup? Dr. Oyon?
Arup, you are muted, Arup. Unmute.
Okay, sorry. Sugato is if you have a patient who can pay, you can pay extra for flax. You can install flax machine, femto machine, even in the small city, no problem. Even Gorakhpur and a small center in Haryana, in Punjab has a flax machine, 2 to 3 flax machine. So it is depends on how it's depends on the capability of your patient, how much they will spend for a cataract surgery. Even if you go to the Ambala, there is a 5 flax machine. There is a small town. Ambala is a small, I think it's smaller than the Asansol or the smaller than the Bhubaneswar. They have a 5 or 6 flax machine. So it's depend on how much your patient can pay for a cataract surgery. Yes,
just to add to that, Arudha, I had been to Gorakhpur last year, and Gorakhpur as a city has 4 flax machines, for your kind information.
Exactly.
Bhubaneswar does not have access to flax. Cuttack has. That's mine.
Yes.
And it's a delta. It's a very small delta, my township.
So one day after 5 years, we can see one flax machine in Chuchura itself. No problem. So it's all depends on
Thank you
how
for
much.
the wish.
Yeah. And Oyon, do you think?
Ajoyda, I think, wants to add a point. Ajoyda has raised his hand.
I'll come to that. Oyon, do you think? I'll come to Ajoyda. Just give us a few seconds, because I can guess Ajoyda was nodding his head when Anurag was speaking. So just I will come to Oyon first. So do you think a patient awareness has a big role to play as well, along with the paying capacity? Oyon is not here. Ojoyda, your turn.
Sugato, there's a paying capability, but marketing also very important. You have to have a little bit push forward, push the patient for the upgrade or better technology. Unless you push the patient, market will not grow. Definitely, yes. I don't think the number of patient in Gorakhpur has much more paying capability than in Gorakhpur, much more than the Calcutta. But yes, they created a market that the people are opting for better technology and they want to spend more for the cataract surgery.
Thank you, Arup.
I have one.
Ojoyda.
See,
Dr. Ajay Pal, please. Yeah.
I think we are talking about the paying capability. Go back 15 years, 20 years back. And when we started FECO, a ECCIL or an SICS would cost, the FECO would cost simply double of what you are paying. I mean, when we started, the cataract was around 3,000, 4,000, and the FECO started with 8,000 and 9,000 or 7,000. So people paid it. See, it's how you market it, as you said. I mean, every second person is carrying an iPhone. It's all discredit that we market our cataract surgery for 4,000, 5,000, 8,000. And you all our subspecialties are charging that because we have demeaned ourselves. We think that we are here for service of mankind. And of course, we are there. We are there for doing low-cost surgeries also. But people who can pay are taking advantage of that. People are, see, look at Big Bazaar, look at the phone companies. They are the same thing. They're changing some here and there, and they're charging 3 times that. So it's all failure. That's the part of the paying capacity. But as Anurag said, as I'll be showing in the in difficult cases, on difficult situation, definite it has got advantage in hard cataract, white cataract, and PPCs. I mean, these are the 3, and the 4th is subluminal. I would always market for a patient for these 4 categories with flax right now because I enjoy doing it and I go on doing it. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay Pal. So if there is no other question, we'll move to our next speaker.
Just one question.
Yes.
I mean, this technology, flax, I'm not against it. It is there in the market for nearly a decade now, 10 years. Why has it not become popular?
FECO was in the market since 1967. When did it become popular? In 1990. Any technology to mature, as Dr. Kashyap was right, we are still not a mature technology. It's for people like us, people like you, people may, to put it forward. If you look at FECO surgery in 70s and 80s,
absolutely
they had problem, they had complication. Had a surgeon in 1970s, 80s stopped doing FECO, we would not have been here. There were corneas were turning white, there were nuclear drops. And those machines were, if you look at it, they're like 7th-hand ambassadors. If you compare what the car we have, the FECO with 8 pulses. I mean, I started with the maximum pulse was the universal one was 8 pulses and 4 pulses of today. Look at
basically it. Today's FECO machine is quite advanced.
So
quite advanced. That's why you not find so much. Yes, definitely. When the safety margin is come down 25 micron, there will be a definite advantage in the femto. Then you can.
Femto is what we are in FECO in 1980s. Still not 90s. We are still not seeing the boom.
Dr. Ajay, I take it as a tool which is really not mature. It is in a state of evolution.
Second thought about it. But if you stop here, then the world have to
so let the controversy, I think, will go on, but I think we have to all move ahead. Like we'll move on with femto, maybe some years down the line, it will be accepted by everyone. All of us here will be doing more of femto, and so we always are with science. So let's go on to our next topic. Dr. Kasturi Bhattacharya is not seen here, so I will request Dr. Harishankar Nag to go on.
Sunita, wait. The next speaker was Dr. Kasturi Bhattacharya. She got stuck. So Dr. Kalita, Dr. Sangeeta Kalita will be speaking on behalf of Dr. Kasturi Bhattacharya. Dr. Sangeeta Kalita has done her MS and MBBS from Guwahati and MS from RIO GMC. And then she had done her cataract fellowship from Sushruta Eye Hospital, Kolkata, and Cornea fellowship from Shankar Nethralaya, Chennai. And currently she is associate consultant in cornea and cataract surgery in SSN Shankardeva Hospital in Guwahati. And she will be doing the presentation on behalf of Dr. Kasturi Bhattacharya. And she will be sharing with us how they have started the Flax Clinic in Guwahati, a small state in Northeast. So welcome, Dr. Sangeeta. Please share your screen and please do your presentation.
Oh, wow, good evening. I'm extremely honored to EIZOC and all the dignitaries present here today. I'm extremely honored to be among the stars of ophthalmologists here. So I'll be sharing my slides.
Sorry.
Is it visible?
Yes, visible. Please carry
on. So I'm Dr. Sangeeta. I'll be presenting on behalf of Dr. Bhattacharya Madam, as she could not be present right now. And presentation how we have started a Flex Clinic at SSN. So cataract surgery is no more about only removing cataract. It has become a refractive surgery, as it aims to remove all the refractive component of the eye. So change is evolution, and we had tremendous revolution from ICC to laser refractive cataract surgery. So in Sri Shankardev Nethralaya, Guwahati, we are doing approximately 21,000 cataract surgeries per year. And out of them, only phacoemulsification amounts to 8,000 per year. And out of that, 70% of the total volume is of premium IOL. So SSN is the first to offer bladeless procedures option for cataract and LASIK in Northeast India. So we had started our Flex Clinic on 14th of February 2018. So how did we start? How did the idea of starting Flex happen? So here in SSN, it is the only tertiary eye care hospital where we cater to a huge chunk of not only cater to the middle class and low class section of people, but also there was increased demand from the patient. So we had to start our Flex Clinic. Then secondly, we also had the urge to start something new in the region, as it was niche in the market. And last but not the least, we in SSN, we go by precision, as Flex is undoubtedly gives us the precise, consistent, reproducible CCC with good optic overlap. Besides, it also helps us to deliver minimum phaco energy. So effective IOL position is responsible, is an important parameter for the inconsistency of refractive outcomes. So as we all know, a more anterior ELP causes a myopic shift of the eye, and the more posterior ELP causes eye to be hyperopic. Similarly, if the capsulotomy is too small, then it causes a hyperopic shift, and if it is too big, it causes a myopic shift. So studies shows that the size of capsular axis does affect the ELP, wherein capsular axis needs to be round, centered, and just smaller than the IOL optic diameter. So Flex also decreases the surgical induced astigmatism, and also helps us in control of the pre-existing astigmatism. So it gives a consistency in incisional architecture, uniform roof and floor distribution, a square edge uniform depth, arcuate incision, and real-time 3D visualization of the incision placement. The most important benefit is that before femtolaser, the arcuate incision was not that accurate, but with femtolaser, assisted femtolaser, we have a uniform depth and a very accurate incision. So this is a video which shows an arcuate incision by a femto laser. So along with the phaco incision, we also did the arcuate laser incision. And we can see at 3 weeks post-op, the healing is very nice. It's remarkable. So besides, flex also gives us a 66% reduction in the phaco power. And that helps us in improving safety and patient outcomes in select medical conditions like Fuchs, corneal catheter, subluxated crystalline lens, and mature and advanced cataract, etc. So I'm presenting to you some advantages of flex in managing certain challenging situations. So out of that, one of the situation is PPC. So here we have opted for cylindrical chop. As it was a soft cataract with PPC. So this is an OR room. So the endonucleus will remove. Epinucleus. Okay. This is another case in hard cataract, hard white cataract. So we opted for cylindrical chop. So this flex is beneficial in such situations like hard white cataracts, as already been discussed. So besides offering a new level of precision and reproducibility in cataract surgery, it helps overcome many challenging situations. So some do's and don'ts in cases of flex. So we have to select some cooperative first list. Then no deep set eyes, no small pupil. We should keep all our instruments, the required instruments ready, spectrum and set of bimanual eye. The video recording system should be there to learn from the initial cases, and using required drops like flubiprofen to maintain dilatation, trypan blue for highlighting incision sites, etc. So thank you. So I would like to share with you our one video on a glimpse of our SSN OT. Is my slide visible?
No.
Oh. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yeah, it is visible now.
So we have a separate flex OT. So this is a small room where we keep our lenses along with our examiner is a EX 500 machine. And followed by the OR room. So I couldn't acquire a very good video since I took it at the very last moment. So sorry for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kalita. And thank you for presenting on behalf of Dr. Kasturi Bhattacharya in very short notice. Thank you so much. So I'll come to Anurag again. Anurag, even if we have a machine, we have discussed, we have to have patient. And if we have a patient base, then we have to have the counseling power to convert those patients from SICS to FECO and then FECO to FLAG. So how would you do this last step to convert the patient with effective counseling from FECO to FLAGs? Then only the system will be viable, I believe.
You see, if you have identified yourself as an organization which has largely depended on the word of mouth spread and have not really, zeroed in on marketing yourself much, like me, then you have to maintain a homogeneity when you speak things. There will be questions from the patients like, is it a faster procedure? Is flax a faster procedure? Is it less painful? Would there be a wow factor? Is it head and shoulders better than the normal phaco? Make absolutely sure that your answer is no to all these three questions. It is not a faster procedure. It is not going to be any surgery is painless. And if there is no wow initially. However, it is a bladeless procedure. It is associated with tremendous amount of tissue respect that extrapolates into incredible clinical benefits later on. And it addresses three important steps wherein an unintended archaism from the surgeon can lead to potentially devastating manifestations later on. It withdraws the user bias from all these three crucial steps in surgery, like the nucleus management, the capsule management, and the corneal management. So in the end, I leave my patients that it's your choice, saying that it's your choice. However, you're trying to board a train. Your destination is New Delhi. There are many bogies available, many classes available. Board the class or board the bogie of your choice, according to your pay pocket or according to the weight of your pocket. My job is to take you to a destination, which is New Delhi, and I'll do my best to do that, to help you achieve that, be it flax, be it FECO. However, if you want a premium, first class, isolated cabin with air conditions running and all white clean bed sheets with a vendor serving you 24/7, then choose flax. Otherwise, you can go with any procedure of your choice.
Just I want to put forth my view here. All Dr. Anurag said will be very well acceptable and appreciated the day flax becomes purely flax. It becomes PECO independent.
Well, then you have to attach a vacuum cleaner to the flax machine then, sir, because something has to suck it out.
So that is what I am saying. That is what I am saying. The day flax becomes so much efficient and it converts literally the cataract into a powdery thing, that you don't need phacoemulsification. All the words, all the exclamations that you have put forth will be in reality. Till we are phaco-dependent in flax, a big question
That is
will be
why
there.
I gave the example of the train, sir. Because even
That
if you're
is
traveling in first
different thing.
class,
That is different thing. That is different thing. Providing amenities and facilities, those are different thing. But here we are talking only purely about the tissue respect, this and that. In that sense, I am saying you can provide comfort. You can put 7-star facilities in your hospital. That is different thing. It is not about that. There is a difference.
I disagree. It is about that.
Yeah,
yeah. You have all the rights.
Just agree to disagree. Yeah, let's move forward.
You have all.
Flax give us
So,
definitely, because if we have flax, it definitely give us some advantages, like it gives help you to do perfect rexis, which is not always possible with manually. And also with hard cataract, with posterior polar cataract, I am sure Dr. Ajay Pal will be sharing difficult situation. Definitely flax has an added advantage. Even if we have phaco, if we have flax to top it up, then I think it has definitely have advantages. I don't do flax, but I feel if I had flax, I would have served those waves of posterior polar cataract or very hard brown cataract quite easily. I feel that, but Dr. Ajay Paul, Dr. Harishankar Nag is there to share their views later on, and they will show us how to tackle difficult and easy cases with flax and basics of flax. So we'll wait and see what.
I'll just add one quick comment with regards to one of the procedures that Dr. Sangeeta just showed, since she mentioned about arcuate incisions in flax. When she was showcasing her OT, I did not see the variant screen. So probably, I don't know whether Shankara Deva uses a variant along with the Lensex. If you think the arcuate incisions are precise and they do work, and I completely support your words, they absolutely work wonderfully well with regards to flax, but they'll work even better if you let the variant plan those arcuates on the cornea. The other thing that I would just slightly differ as far as the procedural count is concerned, I saw Dr. Kasturi opening the arcuate incisions at the beginning of a surgery. I would always
it should be open. Yeah, I agree. It should be open at the end of the surgery, and we do have variant machine, so we have calculated that way.
I sorry to differ here. If you do not open the arcuate incision, actually you will not be able to open it properly at the end of the surgery. Point number one. Point number two, I have a very big study on flax arcuate versus manual variant assisted arcuate incision surgery, which does better. We have also a study showing that the arcuate incision surgery with the flax versus the toric lenses, the toric lenses are better. So these are 3 studies in our hand. It's a very big study. But your question was putting the opening the incision at the beginning of the surgery. It has to be done at the beginning of the surgery. Otherwise, the eye is not tight, the eye is loose, and you cannot do it properly.
No. The eye is always tight if you do it under BSS. You have to switch on the irrigation cannula and put it out.
No matter what you say,
traveling at.
No matter what you say, people who are doing it, they can check it.
Yeah.
They can check it. Like she also did before the surgery. If you don't open this arcuate incision, it cannot open properly. It cannot open properly.
Oh, it does.
So they must have given a special machine, Dr. Anurag.
No. I'm just saying that I'm a little wary of the incisions traveling at 90% depth and opening them at the beginning. So yeah, I would always do it at the end.
I have a part of the video clip on how to open it at the end of this. Please carry on.
Okay, so we are hearing all the experts in it, and we'll be hearing the experts. Let's go to the next speaker, who is none other than Dr. Harishankar Nag. So please unmute yourself and also your video. He is in the cataract services in Shushrut, Kolkata, after his fellowship, after his MS, and then fellowship in Arvind, in anterior segment and IOL. And Dr. Harishankar, yeah, I see you. Yes. So today I hand over good evening. Please share your slides. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, So once again, good evening, everyone. After hearing Dr. Kashyap's talk, I was a little scared to share my presentation. So, but again, as usual, after listening, Anurag Bhai, the courage, yes, I will present my presentation. Uh, it is taking a while to get my screen ready.
Send me the royalty later, Hari.
Yes,
Send me the royalty for that.
It's taking a while to open up my presentation.
That's all right. You can keep talking. Don't worry.
So, started Flax in 2015. But again, as the controversy goes on, whether it is beneficial for the patient, whether the patients do get
Sir, you have chosen Zoom meeting. Please choose your presentation.
Yeah.
The share screen you have chosen Zoom meeting, so choose the other one.
Which one to choose? Let me. Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Yes, close that down. Choose the other one which you have shown. Share. Yeah, please open your presentation from the taskbar. Collapse this and Dr. Nag, are you there? I think he's.
Harishankar, if you can close this and click.
No, I don't think so. He's there. He's got disconnected. Yes, he's got disconnected.
I can see his screen only. Just nothing.
Yeah, but then I don't think he's online.
I'll call him.
Yeah, please do. So while we were going on with the discussions of, that's, he's left completely. Shugata, should you ask Dr. Ajay Paul to present and then
I think
Harishankar?
so. Let us go ahead with Ajay.
Let's go ahead. Go ahead with Dr. Ajay Paul.
Harishankar can follow up later.
Thank you.
Okay, Doctor, I don't think so. I need to really introduce Dr. Ajay Pal. It is very well known, needs no introduction, director of BBI Foundation and a teacher of many of us. He's my guru in Flax. So he's always there to help all of us, and let's hear from the master.
Thank you. Shugata, is my slide visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
No conflict of interest, no financial conflicts. I think I'm the only speaker who is speaking on a platform which is not used by Anurag or Dr. Kashyap or Kalita or Harishankar. I have no financial interest. The only financial interest is that they offered me 25% less than what my other fellow colleagues have been offered. So that's the only interest. So I can offer more of my patients femto. And we bought it at a later date than the earlier machine platform that was there. So a lot of things that were spoken were the early generation machine. I just want to say, and Anurag has got the recent machine. So he has already rectified what our first speaker said, the problems that we had with the machine earlier. So anybody who buys it in 2021 or 22 will be better machine than what we have now at the moment. So it's always in the progress. So boon or bane, I think we just had that debate here. There is a strong opinion for and against Flax and manual surgery, and this will continue till, this we had with the FECO itself for last 20 years. I myself had debated with a friend of ours that FECO for all by all in 2020, in 2010, and I was booed down that it is just impossible that in a country like India, I think we debated in 2006 or 7, that FECO for all by all in 2020, and today in 2020, 2021, I think everybody is doing FECO. So I can say that Flax for all by all by 2035 or 30, I think that will be a reality. So we know Flex has emerged as an adjunct to conventional FECO, as one of the speakers said that it is not possible if you have FECO in a machine. I think that's what is in future. The whole machine is combined in a single state, that the same machine would do your rhexis, your emulsification, or the nucleus breaking up and taking it, that's all. But what is this automating the steps is fine, enhancing precision, absolutely fine. Anybody can say that I also can do with my hand. But what has really attracted me to this technology is the challenging cases. The cases, what I stated just, I mean, that has changed the way I'm doing my surgery today. So this is what a 2010 machine was. The Rexis used to be ragged, and 2021, this is the condition, and 2031, definitely this would change. So I just come with the one small video how we take the patient there, and this is how it goes in. And see, this is what an ideal here is there. You have got it. I just not edited any. The incisions, the side port, and the arcuate incision, and the sextant. And this is how you take the machine and get it. You have got it, the whole thing, said, and the patient is taken out. Now, some of the problems that we could encounter is this is what now we have got the patient there, and the platform that you use, the table goes up, and unlike the platform my other friends are using, where the whole the PI comes around. This is how it is. You can see how it is. At times you can have this. The whole the PI is not getting is got detached, and again we can go back and do it. This is what you could happen, and this is another case that we are seeing some of the problems. This is again, as you can see, as we talk LOI, not PI. Sorry, there's a LOI, liquid optic interface. You go there in front and put the solution, and there, man, this is a smaller pupil. This is around 5 millimeters, so we can do what we call it as pupil maximizer. I think this is there in all machine. This is the scan, and many times you may not get the scan. See the scan, this is halfway, and then the machine, extrapolates the structure, and there you got it. So you're doing it as a, this is what you are doing, the rhexis, you're making the pupillary size more artificially, so you get a 5 millimeter rhexis. Normally, by default, the laser fires 1 millimeter beyond the pupillary margin. So within a minute, the whole is done. And look at this patient, again, the same thing. As we can go forward, some of the problems, as so this is again a smaller pupil, how we deal with the smaller pupil in this sort of situation there. See, this is what the lens has been, and ultimately the extrapolating, we are increasing the size of the pupil, and there we have got the rhexis. And sometimes I do omit the incision also in this, because this was a hard cataract and small pupil. I didn't want to wait, because that would take that extra energy that would go in there. So let's go to this, the real challenges. Now this is a black cataract. This is what toric we are doing. This is the arcuate incision. This is in subluxated cataract, white cataract. Let's come to one by one. This is a 6-minute video. Just you can see the advantage in challenging cases. Look at this. This is a hard black rock-hard cataract. Now what I do is keep a 500 micron, like Dr. Anurag said. Look at this. This was a dark black cataract. It's not a scratch. I've used 5 repetition instead of normal 3 repetition. Look at it. I've got nice sextant there. It's separated. I can already the separation is there. The phaco power definitely has gone down in this case. And once this is done, now look at this. Look at this black cataract. This was a black brown cataract. I've done those matrices. Definitely matrices. Again, these are smaller. Instead of 200 micron, this is a 300 micron matrix that we have done. Look at this black cataract. Look at, as we are saying, it's a small scratch. Look at this. This is how easily, there's no question of posterior plate. Look, 3, 4, 5, 6, you would have struggled to doing that separation. Now, this is how, as Anurag is saying, you need 40 to 50 cases to come to how much energy you'll be using, and how much, whether you use sextant in these. And this, as we have done with our normal cataract surgery, this is how you learn in the process. We are almost 3 years down the line. Now, this is the intumescent white cataract. If you have seen it, the intumescent, I'll just go back to this. the white intumescent. Just go back and see. Those are the vacuoles, the intumescence vacuoles. You can see the fluid, and the OCT has scanned, and this is how it's interpolated. So we keep a 500 micron. Though the OCT has not gone right into this taken the shape and it's made a structure. So we keep a 500 micron safety zone. Look at this. We go ahead with the femto, and I'm doing a single LRI here. Look at it. Arcuate incision, the incision there, because these are 0.75, and this is what you can see. Sometimes you can get a little bit of attachment. Now I have done a matrix curve, and this is another one where there is a little bit of attachment there because the fluid has escaped. In those cases where there's too much of intumescent, once we have made it a 0.9 second, this has improved definitely. We do get clear floating rexis, but then even if you don't get it complete, you can just use a microrexis forceps. Look at this. This is one of those earlier one in our learning phase in 2017 that we are doing. And look at this white cataract. Look at this, the split that has already been done there. So I use minimum energy and minimum sideways movement to separate them. Look at this small pupil. Now advantage, this is around 4.75 rexis we have done. This is a 5 mm pupil. This has gone down. See, I'm using viscoat here. Look at the split that has been done. Now people are asking that, can it go beyond 5? See, within 5 mm you have done the split. See, so easily. I'm using again viscoat here to separate the iris, and then look at, because the turbulence is less, because if you have a high-end machine, you can definitely use it. Now this is a case where I'm using a B hex, where the pupil has really gone down, because these are already 4.75 and 5 mm pupil, and I'm aiming for around 4.5 rexis, and so easily we can take those pieces out. Now this is the advantage even in small pupil, and the lens goes right the intended place, and we take out the. Now this is a soft cataract. Now soft cataract, I think all have struggled. See, what we do is just put a visco separation. You know, the soft cataract catching, you have a problem whether you can suddenly go and bite right into the posterior capsule. See, this so easily. Now this is one of the cases where you can use almost zero energy. Now this is a PPC, like, you know, unlike what Sangeeta showed, this is what we are doing. The big ones, the big matrices, round matrices. This is what we use in our, because the catalyst does not have the round, the circular, the concentric circles. So what we have done is multiple small, and they, as Anurag says, that you don't get a hold on this, but then you can just suck it and take it off. Now this is a toric lens. As you can see, the internal separation is done. All the cortex is cleared, and very easily I just take that, the whole cortical, the epinucleus and cortex is out, and the lens, especially it's come a boon when I'm using this premium lens, whether it's toric lens or multifocal or trifocals, because you need the lens to stay in the center. The rexis has to be really round to give you consistent result over a period of time in a long term. And this is a post-radial keratotomy. You could decide, why did I do? Well, rexis, you know that when you use higher energy or higher irrigation, in these cases, you can get, you know, the radial keratotomy can open up, the incisions can open up, but you can see that I'm just separating, and this is a soft cataract. I'm using less phaco energy here, less bottle height. This was a Centurion. We didn't have that, you know, the parameters here, almost 20 IOP. So that way I could save that radial keratotomy, the incisions opening up. So you can use lesser phaco energy, lesser, you know, the infusion pressure. So there, I'll use that after doing the intraoperative refraction. Now this is the advantage in subluxated cataract. See, I can position the rexis wherever I want. That's what, I mean, this is the most struggling part, as a lot of us who do subluxated cataract find it, that getting the rexis right. Look at this. Once you get the rexis right, we are putting the CTR and then so well balanced. Now this subluxated cataract, we need to remember that if there is too much of tilt in the lens, then probably this will have an incomplete rhexis, because that's the OCT would track it. I suppose it's almost 15 to 20 degree tilt it can correct. There's an auto tilt correction. So once we have done that, I'm using a single piece hydrophobic lens in this subluxated cataract, and there it goes, the CT segment. Once you go ahead with the CT segment, now this is just taken out and tucked in. And as I was saying, this is what we do. Now this is the infusion on. As you can see, the infusion is on. I've got the whole eyeball tight, as Dr. Kashyap was saying. It's customary to do it at the end of, that's what the teaching as for us. See, I just opened the anterior here. And we know the Catalyst, the new software that has been being installed, the C6, COS6, that would actually help in toric lenses. You can just feed in the data and automatically it will post. Right now we have to follow some nomogram. The inbuilt nomogram would be there. For a toric lenses, the Cassini system is there with this, just like the Varian is there with the Lensex. We can incorporate it. So you got the right axis. So it will be a great boon for the toric lens and premium lenses. So is FLAX the future? Just last few slides. Well, as I was saying, we are the early adapters. This is the Rogers Innovation Adaptation Curve. This is what was FECO around 20 years back. This is what we are there. This is the early majority. The FECO is now here. FLAX is somewhere here. So it will just take around a decade or more with a better technology, which will be better than what we have. For the simple reason, if you look at this study, in USA, 44% of the residency program has 2016-17 performing FLAX, as against 21% in 2014. Probably it's higher now. This is the learning curve by the Arvind Pondicherry group, who says that approximately 25 to 30 cases you need to upgrade yourself. Just to end it, it's not the species that survives, not the most intelligent one, but the one who's responsive to change. Just all through passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. That's what happened with FECO. That's happened with any new procedure. Second, it is violently opposed. It's being violently opposed. But third, it is accepted as being self-evident. As Shugato said, in future, that's what we will be doing. So perfection is not a destination but a journey for me. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Ajayda, for the excellent presentation and inspiring us, the surgeon who are still not enjoying FLAX, to enjoy FLAX, to start FLAX. But again, everything comes for a cost, and FLAX is a very costly instrument to make it viable. So that's the main issue, I think, for many surgeons. So Arup, are you there? Dr. Bhaumik? Dr. Arup Bhaumik, are you here? Probably. So, yeah, Harishankar, before you start, I'll ask Anurag again. So, Anurag, being a great surgeon with God-blessed hands, how many cases did you take to say, okay, I'm comfortable doing FLAX?
The manufacturer, the house from which I bought the machine, they have a standard protocol. When you get the machine installed, the application manager will come and stay with you for the first 12 cases, irrespective of the span of months that you do it in. So I think you just need an orientation regarding the docking. That's possibly the most important user-dependent step of FLAX. Once you get the docking right, the rest of the things just follow. And then before they start, the other beautiful system about their whole thing is that before you start with the procedures, they'll take your theory classes. I mean, you are virtually a student, and the CAS, the clinical application manager, just sits with you for 2 hours, and then he explains to you right from where the laser started, to the gantry, to the protocols they have of calibrating the machine, to the 13 mirrors and the angulations that they bear, and the kind of dockings that you might have wrongly placed. how should you take the scan, where should you position your rexis and nucleotomy, everything. So I think it took around 10 cases for me to get a hang of a few things, which I didn't understand at the beginning, coming to the practicality of it. And then I was ready to go. But yes, I think I completely agree with Dr. Paul. You do need the first 30 cases would just be you riding on the beginner's luck. And from the 31st case onwards, perhaps you're a true surgeon who starts doing the procedures. So it's the margin I would keep is the first 10 where you learn. Before that, some theory. You have to understand your machine. The first 10 cases for orientation, and the next 20 maybe to get your hands set and set yourself for the future.
I'll come with the same question. Thank you, Anurag. I'll come with the same question to Sangeeta. Sangeeta, you being in an institute, do you feel
Yes,
it's
sir.
a easier step forward because you have your some seniors and also the machine man to guide you through? So do you think you are in a better position than what Dr. Anurag is in to start Flax because you are in an institute?
Sir, I have done, sir, to be honest, I have done around just 20 cases till now, sir.
So,
I have done mainly, sir, I am still in the beginning phase because, yes, they are always there to help us. They are always there to guide us. And yes, just like Dr. Anurag Mishra said, I also had some training from them. They tell us even the minutest of the details. So it is easier for us to handle.
So as a beginner, what step do you think is most difficult for the beginners? What flag steps you think is?
Sir, in the beginning, sir, I had a problem with the opening of the wound mainly. So I used to use trypan glue to just stain to see how to open the sites. But once I could once after I think 3 to 5 cases I could handle that. I could open the incisions well. After that, I had problem during hydrosealing of the incision at the end of the surgery. So that part was most difficult, and for the first 10 cases, I was struggling, sir. I was struggling like anything because half of the time I did surgery and the rest half I was just sealing the incision. So for hydrosealing also, I felt I had some difficulties.
Okay,
And
thank you.
sir, rest, sir, I didn't face any problem as such, sir.
And do you think, I think with the newer machines, the problem of bubble formation is much, much less, I believe. Because in the older machine, there was this chances of bubble formation and posterior capsule rupture. I think I'm not a flax surgeon, but with the newer machine, do you face all these problems with the newer machines?
Sir, if I suspect that there is PSC or some PPC, then I used to keep a gap of around 200 to 200 microns, sir. So during my capsulotomy only, I kept the margin from the posterior capsule and I didn't face any complication like posterior capsule rupture, sir.
Okay, thank you.
But yes, one PCR I had, and out of these 20 cases, I had done one PCR, but I could manage well, and I had implanted a sensor, a 3-piece IOL in that case. The patient was doing well, but yes, to be honest, I did one PCR in that case. It was not the machine fault, I will say. It was probably it was my fault, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you for sharing your experience, Dr. Kalita. Dr. Sujit Mishra, are you there, sir? Dr.
Yeah, I am very well there, sir.
Sir, so the cases which Dr. Paul shared, like subluxated lens or PPC, how comfortable you are? Will you say, okay, if I have flax, I'll still do plain and simple phaco in these cases, or if I have flax, I'll take help of the flax, and because I'll be able to manage this with flax better. What is?
I would like to clarify, I am no way an obstacle in the process of evolution.
No. But
let it be very clear. It is about the way it is presented. The technology should get its correct place. You know, the big question is, should we as an ophthalmologist in general work and earn for R&D of an evolving technology? That is my main question. I am not against a developing. Evolution is the norm. As Dr. Ajay Paul sir said very well, with time you have to change. So that is not, it's not about again being against the flags. Whatever they have shown, it's wonderful. Second thing, till I was in Lotus in Tamil Nadu, I had my orientation of that genre machine. So I understand. That's why I asked about the offset factor to Dr. Anurag, because I think in earlier generation that offset factor used to be more. So the posterior plaque may be more, posterior crater may be more. So with time, once the machine develops and gives you better options and better results, why not? And finances, of course, that is the biggest thing. So we have to keep whole thing in mind. Any good surgeon, any surgeon cannot be an obstacle in the process of evolution in technology. So my perspective is that, why not? If I have that machine, if someone gives me at this point of time, I would love to do it. But thing is, it should be placed in correct context. That's my contention.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Arup, if you are here, do you want to add anything, or shall we move on to the next speaker, Dr. Harishankar Nag?
In my view, definitely in PPC, it is a definite advantage, osteopolar cataract. In subluxation, definitely there is advantage of doing femtorexis. But even very subluxated case, when the pupil is nucleus, whole cataract is very mobile, even then it's very difficult to do rexis. Even in there is a little bit of tilt. Yes, there is a tilt. Software is a tilt correction, but even then it is very difficult to do a perfect rectis. There is a tilt, and I have tried one femtorexis in cases of there is a microspheriphagia, but unable to do that rexis because the lens is moving after docking. So I am not sure. So I left the procedure. But even then, if the cataract has a very liquid cortex, then your rexis can fail. There is a few limitation on it, but definitely in routine cases, this will give you a perfect 5mm rexis. It will ultimately patient will gain long run from the visual quality because people lens will be absolutely centered. In manual rexis, even even in good hand, it is very difficult to make a perfect rexis in all cases. Definitely, there is an advantage, but as the technology is evolving, still the technology will improve a lot. As I told you that if there is a safety margin is just 25 micron from the posterior capsule, then it will be a path-breaking technology for femtosecond. There's a year to come, this technology.
Thank you, Arup. Can we move on to the next speaker, Dr. Harishankar Nag? Harishankar, if you can share your screen. Harishankar is the consultant of cataract services at Shushruth Eye Hospital. As Dr. Sudipta has already introduced him, he has done his MBBS from Sambalpur and MS from Ranchi RIMS and fellowship in IOL and anterior segment from Arvind Eye Hospital, Madurai. He's a very high volume cataract surgeon and he's a good teacher as well. So let's see what Harishankar has to say about the basic of flags. I believe his presentation will help.
Once again, good evening. Once again, good evening, and I'm sorry for the technical glitch. Hope things go well now. So my topic being basic steps for beginners. I have no financial interest. Yes, so we all are aware of the changing face of cataract surgery because there is evolution in technology, machines, lenses, and now patients are coming with diagnosis and earlier diagnosis and treatment before substantial loss of vision, so expectation is quite high. So since we as cataract surgeons bear the brunt of expectation of patients, And we know that the common challenges that we face in cataract surgery, we are too much worried about the effective lens position. We are worried about the endothelial cell count, the posterior capsule, the post-operative astigmatism, and the post-operative corneal edema. So ultimately, we all are worried about the visual outcome. So flax for a surgeon, how we perceive it. So it has automated computer-guided laser precision with minimal collateral tissue damage, with emerging evidence of greater precision and accuracy of the anterior capsulotomy and more stable and predictable positioning of the intraocular lens. But how we explain to our patients when we describe what flax is all about? So to a patient, we say, yes, it's a bladeless surgery, which is computer controlled, advanced precision-based technology. We all know that flax is based on principle of photo disruption, and femtosecond laser has the duration of pulse is in the range of femtoseconds, and the collateral tissue damage is much less because of the expansion of the plasma creates microcavitation bubbles, so which causes the acoustic shock wave. So this actually makes femtosecond laser an ideal tool for highly precise ophthalmic surgery. So steps already have been discussed, that these are the steps: incision, capsulorrhexis, and lens fragmentation, and correction of lower degrees of astigmatism are the steps where femtosecond laser can be of help. So incision, we can plan one plane, two plane. We can do the primary, secondary, the capsulorrhexis. Yes, femtosecond capsulotomy is more precise and accurate than a manual one. There's no doubt about it. We get a better overlapping over the IUL. Lens fragmentation, again, depending upon the density of the nucleus, we do have options of making chops, making cylinders, grid. And as said, that we can also correct the lower degrees of preoperative corneal astigmatism. So we all know that instrumentation in the laser cataract surgery machine is basically part is the patient interface, the laser delivery system, and the imaging system. There are different laser cataract surgery machines, lens sets, LENSAR, Catalyst, Victus available. We at Suswatai Foundation have LensX laser machine. And yes, it has real-time video imaging with integrated OCT, curved patient interface, intuitive touch screen, graphic user interface, and image-guided surgical planning. So for a beginner, I would suggest to select a case as we used to do in our beginning phaco cases, a clear case that we used to say, a grade 2-3 nucleus, nicely dilating pupil. And yes, as Sangeet has already mentioned, that we should avoid deep set eyes. We should choose a very well cooperative patients. So flax, it basically comprises of two parts. One is the laser application, and second is the cataract extraction and IOL implantation. So the laser application we do in the laser room. So the most important part I still feel is the docking one. For a good flax, it is very important that we have a good docking. So I would like to share a video of the docking. Yes. So before opening up the PI, we should ensure that yes, we are dealing with the what keratometry value. So if it is a normal one, say from 41 to 46, is fine. Or we may have to use a steep PI or a flat PI depending upon the keratometry values. So since it can be done in a semi-sterile condition, so the surgeon here is not wearing gloves. But if at all we wear gloves, then we will be wearing the powder-free gloves to prevent any powder particles in between the lens and the PI. So we instill a little bit of BSS, then place the contact lens on the patient interface. Press it to release any air bubble in between. Again, little bit of BSS, then attach it to the gantry. Then this is the RFID device. So once we plug it in, it turns green, means the machine has recognized the PI. Then we put the gantry down slowly, center it on the patient's eye. and then do the surgical planning. So as we plan, first we plan the limb centration, then we plan our incisions, then we plan the capsulotomy size. So these all are, then we plan the capsular axis. So we have the pink and the yellow lines, and then we plan the nucleotomy, and then we plan the incision. So after planning all this, we verify and accept our plan, and then put the laser. So once the laser emission starts, it takes almost around 20 to 30 seconds, depending upon the grade of the nucleus and all these things. So the countdown begins, and laser emission starts. When the laser emission starts, first thing made is the capsular axis, then the lens fragmentation. Once the lens fragmentation is over, then we get the primary incision followed by the secondary incisions. And then we lift the gantry up and remove shift the patient to the sterile OT, where we'll do the cataract extraction and the IOL implantation. Before shifting the patient, we do check for the contact lens that it is over there in the patient side of the PI. This is one of my initial videos when I started doing flaps. So a video of those days. So opening of the incision, I always look for the air bubbles present. I usually open up one of the side ports first. We use the lens spatula for that. After opening up one of the side ports, I inject xylocaine, preservative free, for the anesthesia. It is good to dry your incision site. Then with the same spatula, I open up the other side port. Then inject viscoelastic to slightly tighten up the globe so that I can open up my main incision. Now, while opening up the main incision, we must take care that it's either a biplanar or triplanar, and we should move our spatula accordingly. Rexis, for capsular flap removal, I always use the Rexis forceps. That helps me to take care of any portion, whether the laser has not been applied. If any such portion is there, then it's been taken care of. Hydrodissection, we do the routine one, but I ensure that, yes, I go beneath the capsule, because here when the capsulotomy is being done, the laser basically cuts the capsule as well as the superficial part of the cortical matter. So it is very important that we go nicely beneath the capsule to ensure a cortical cleavage hydrodissection. And definitely the hydro should be very gentle one, and because there will be a gradual release of gas bubbles. And nuclear management, since already the cleavage planes have been given, so I just do a direct chop. I introduce my chopper in the cleavage plane. With minimal energy, I can separate the different fragments of the nucleus. Now, the nuclear fragmentation pattern we can choose depending upon the grade of the nucleus. So routinely for grade 2-3 nucleus, I usually put 6 chops, and for softer cataract we use a cylinder one, and harder cataract we put a central grid as well. So after separating the nuclear pieces, we emulsify it at the supracapsular plane. Yes, sir. Yeah, after emulsification. So during cortical removal, again, I prefer to do a tangential movement to ensure that, yes, many a time the posterior capsule along with the cortex looks so shiny that as if there is no cortex. So I try to move my aspirating cannula sideways to ensure that, yes, I have done good cortical wash. And then I implant the IL. So once we implant the IL, we can see that, yes, the IL optic edge is nicely covered by the capsular axis margin. Thank you all for your patient hearing.
Thank you. Sudipta?
Yes, that was an excellent presentation, Dr. Harishankar.
Thank you,
So,
ma'am.
it's very inspiring for people who are yet to start flax. How you've demonstrated very well. I'm sure now I would like to ask the panelists here about their learning curve, their experience, the learning curve. Because now, as the bubbles are not have never been an issue because I'm relatively young in flax, I've done very few of them. But then I would ask the panelists who are veteran in this that about the learning curve. As I heard that some people are saying 30, some said 50 cases would give you a idea or hang of the subject. So how was the curve? Was it a very steep curve or is it a curve that is smooth that goes on? Any one of the panelists here? Dr. Anurag Mishra, I'll come to you later on. I'll ask Dr. Kalita maybe first. Dr. Hello, is she there?
Yes, I'm there.
Kalita, yeah. So you have done 20 cases till now, ma'am, as you told us.
Yeah.
So how was your curve, the initial curve, when you did the initial 3-4 cases? How was your curve? Did you feel that the
So
learning curve was
initial
easier than FACO, or was it difficult than FACO? Because after all, we all have also learned FACO. So how was it?
No, actually for me, it was not that difficult. At least it was not difficult like FACO. So for me, FACO took a longer time for me to learn. But after doing a FACO, I think it is easier for us to convert to flex. Because we just have to dock the machine. We just have to know how to dock. And rest, we have to open the incision. And rest is similar to FACO. So I didn't have a much steeper curve. So I just had first 3 to 5 cases, a little bit of difficulty, but after that I could manage to some extent. Still, I'm
So it
not
was
doing that much of hard cataract.
okay. And I would
Still,
also
I'm
like
not
to
doing that much of hard cataract, so I can't say.
And would you push a patient of hard cataract to go for flax rather than for phaco?
Yes,
if the patient is
obviously.
affordable.
Yes, obviously, I'd like to go for flex. If the patient is affording, then obviously I'll go for flex.
Okay. So any regarding the curve now, Dr. Shujit Mishro, sir, any comments on that? Sir, you're completely muted. Please unmute.
I don't have that much experience because that was the time when I shifted to Patna. So I think Dr. Anurag will tell better.
I'll come back to Dr. Anurag at the end. So Dr. Ayon is not there. Dr. Ayon or Dr. Aru? None of them is there. Okay. Okay, Dr. Anurag.
Let Ajay have a say.
Yeah, Ajayda, you want to say something?
Well, as Anurag said, it's 10 cases that the companies offer you, the free PIs for the surgeon. I think in that session, we had a lot of other surgeons also doing it. Siddhartha and all, I think Shugota didn't attend. A lot of surgeons did it. See, basically the docking part. Now you have as he said, a company person is there, the application, he would actually guide you, he would take your classes. So it becomes easy. I mean, even if you dock and undock, and if like we have a system, if by docking, undocking, you lose that LOI, you can always return it back to the company and they would replace it. So that's not an issue. I mean, many times you don't, and then you have to, those RFI reader is there, you can use only once, then you have to throw it, you cannot reuse it. So that part is there. And about the FACO part, as I said, initially we all had those bubbles, misgivings, but later on, as we started attending conference, so basically earlier what we do, this bubbles that we have now you should remember the trial period which was there with the lens, they used anything between 8 to 10 millijoules of energy. Today we are using in catalyst, we are using 3 millijoules. I am not very sure how much is used in lens X. and the spacings and the spot size has reduced. I mean, the companies, as you know, the application engineer would come as you graduate to first 10 cases or 20 cases, they see you how you're doing your FICO, and then accordingly they change. So that is not an issue, much of an issue, especially the bubbles. And today, what we do in our practice is that whatever bubble is there, fine. We just go and take the FICO tip, go in the dip, and just separate it. The moment you separate, the bubbles escape from it. Earlier, we used to spend some time doing it, or moving it here, take the bubbles out. There was a misgiving and fear that those bubbles will go and rupture the posterior capsule. Well, in our 1,000+ cases, at least my cases or Dr. Partha Biswas's cases, as far as you know, that bubbles have not yet ruptured. But then it was there in the early machines. Definitely it was there. If you use too much of energy or too much of repetition, like we do on only 3 repetition as the basic, but the earlier trials were with 5 or 6 repetitions. So that is where things have improved, I suppose. I think Anurag can throw some light more on how the machine has evolved for them.
Yes, Dr. Anurag, please go on.
Before I start, I love the way you put your hand up to me and told me, stay where you are. I've just not come to you. Don't start blabbering as yet. I'll come to you later. So thank you so much for the warning. And
I wanted the expert comment from you, because I saw that you really enjoy femto. So I would definitely get the positive part at the end. So we would like to end with the positive note. That's why I was waiting for you. That's the reason.
Right. Thank you. So that was in the lighter vein. See, there are a few areas wherein a little bit of experience is required for you to graduate, as in everything, starting from driving a car, getting a hang of the traffic, and so on and so forth. The laser machine also has a few areas. For example, at times it will just not recognize the limbus. You have to do it manually. It will show you that it has failed to recognize the limbus. How much to keep the illumination so that the limbus gets identified properly by you? There are times a thick arcus, whether to put the external limit of your incision along the arcus, or you go too much corneal. You might end up going ludicrously close to the central corneal area. So there are a few areas wherein you need to expertise. But to get the hang of the machine, I don't think, let's face it, that anybody who evolves from a phaco surgeon to a flak surgeon is a proficient surgeon by himself already. So he should not, or she should not, require more than 10 cases to get a hang of the things. As far as the air bubbles are concerned, Catalyst is a faster machine. Let's understand the two platforms well. Catalyst is a faster machine. It operates with 120 kilohertz frequency. The Lensex is a less speedster. It operates at the 50k hertz. They made it 50k hertz because Lensex always concentrated on the corneal plane, whereas Catalyst concentrates on the capsular plane. So it is the amount of energy you require to disrupt the tissues is a little more with Lensex than it is with Catalyst. But I think, as Dr. Ajay Paul said, when you provide a cleavage to an area, that's the area where the microbubbles form. There are a few bubbles already there in the anterior chamber when you start your phaco. It's not very difficult to dissociate them from the main procedure as you go on. They might obscure your view for a few seconds, but that's it. You know how to remove them from the system and get a clear view for the rest of the path to be visible to you properly. The air bubbles that get trapped while docking, well, that has minimized a lot because the shape of the interface that they have made, be it a solid interface like Lensex or be it a liquid interface like the Catalyst, they have actually reshaped it. Nowadays, the cup which is attached to the eye is sucking the eye in so that there is, and then you apply the suction so that the air bubble gets flattened out. And they also do not increase the intraocular pressure that much as they were previously. The Catalyst increases the IOP by around 10 millimeters and the Lensex increases it by 14 millimeters. So it's hardly anything beyond the baseline. So learning curve is there, but I would not call it a curve actually. It is a pathway that you have to cross, maybe 100 steps. That's it. It's not a curve. There is no steepness. You don't have to ride and fall. There is no peak and trough. You just have to cross 100 paces and reach your destination, which is the checkered flag. That's it.
Very well put.
Excellent. Very well explained. That is the reason, sir, I kept you for the last. We wanted a positive note for flax.
The fact that
Anyway,
you tried to
so-
explain it the second time, it was definitely a warning signal that you don't blabber.
Anyway,
Thank you. Yeah. Too much of positive going. Let there be some negative also, as a lot of people have put it. But then, yes, for a surgeon who has done it for 3 years, 4 years, is positive. For a person who doesn't, let's not make it as a owner's pride and neighbor's envy. It's there to come. Let's not make it. And FECO was also never like it. We all graduated. The femto is, the prices would come down. It used to be 3 crore. It's around 2 crore. It will be 1 crore. You are buying FECO machines for 70 lakhs, 60 lakhs. You're buying a vitrectomy machine for 50. So it will be incorporated. So it's a matter of time. I mean, people like Anurag, people like Sudipta, people like Pranab sir, if you don't go on using it, the companies are not going to invest to make it prices go down. So if somebody has to give it, and definitely we are not spoiling the eyes, like not making the eyes go. Yes, patient is paying a little bit of premium for it. It's fine. They're paying for a simple iPhone. I mean, for a phone which can be done with 5,000, 6,000, people are spending 50,000. Come on, yeah. You should be able to. You have marketed so many things. You can market it. I mean, you have marketed SICS to FECO. You have made the patient pay double what you are paying for SICS. So pay it a little bit. Now, I just wanted to say, I mean, when we thought of this, is just out of the context, around 2015 and 16, I think it was Guwahati Medical College where I and Dr. Vasavda, we are doing a live surgery together, and he had bought the lenses, and we are saying that, sir, should I spend so much? Should we, me and Partho, have decided that we will go in for the machine, but we are very. Then he said, see, you will maybe you will not make money in doing a femto. It's whatever you learn, it will go. But you will make money in your premium normal cataract surgery. And he said, counted, see, I have increased my aspheric lenses by 5,000 rupees. From whatever amount, 5,000 rupees, you just increase that price, and you should make your normal cataract surgery. If you make your a best cataract surgery, best FECO, and your femto price difference is almost 3 times, then this is not going to work. You have to make your the normal. So if you are charging a femto 80,000, like what we do, our best cataract surgery in aspheric lens is 40,000. So patient is given 40 or 45,000. So you're going to pay double. Now, if you're paying triple, if your femto, your FECO procedure is say 18 or 20,000, and you are charging 60,000 for femto, patient will not come. If you're charging 30,000, you say your femto is 90,000. Patient, it has to be a little bit more than double. I mean, that has happened with our SICS or ECC with FECO. I mean, that's how marketing, a little bit of marketing, you increase your basic, I mean, which was 20,000 or 30,000, make it 10,000 or 5,000 more. Then the patient will know, yes, there is something different. That's what Dr. Vasavda advised us, that you increase your basic, then you'll see more conversion. And that's what happened basically.
Very motivating lines.
Very motivating.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I totally agree with Ajayda. Ajayda, Rupak here. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole debate today. But again, like Ajayda said, even if it is, I just wanted to give a small example, even if it is needed also, like how the anti-VEGF have started. In 2005, the anti-VEGF has started, but till the other company, like that time only the Macugen was there. Till 2000, then 2007 when ranibizumab came into the picture. And this is the company strategy who was little more aggressive for marketing. And then the need has come up, and now you can see the need for anti-VEGF. So probably the company's marketing policy also makes a huge role in creating the boom. Ajayda.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So
right.
Avastin was 5,000, 7,000, and you started 20,000 or 25,000 for Lucentis or Accentris. I mean, it was a big mind block. But today, if people are marketing for 35,000, a new Piganex, or the 55,000 for the other Eylea. There, I mean, if you can market it, I always tell my patients, if you are buying a phone for 50,000 or 60,000, why not go for a cataract surgery for 60,000? And phone is something you can do with 10,000 rupees. So it's
Sir, one question from me, Sujit here.
yeah.
How do you see in the timeline integration of two separate into one machine down the line?
People are working on it. I mean, there is nanosecond laser coming in. The people are working to integrate. I mean, already you have the Lensar machine, which is with the wheels. You can take it in your OT, be a part of it. The Zimmer is a much advanced machine than what we have now at the moment. It's a bit costlier now. It has got all the toric, the Intel Axis and all, everything coming on. So it's a matter of time. I mean, what I'm sure is it's there in the laboratory, and people have to, the companies have to, finish off with all the R&D that you have done with the present generation machines. If you remember, I remember I had gone to Dr. Howard Fine in 2002. At that time, the Centurion machine, the Centurion machine, the whole concept was on trial. And they already had it. It was 15 years back they were working on it, and it was already on the trial. I mean, offing something where the bottle height would be like the FECO machine, there would not be, and that's what they are working. So it's maybe it's there in some laboratory. It's in a sector, so it is matter of time. It is already words are out that integrated machine would be there. Maybe anything between anywhere in next decade.
Dr. Sujit, the integration of the two concepts can happen into one unit. That's not an issue. I mean, you can just add on a Centurion beside a Lensex and make it one wholesome unit. That's not the issue. The two machines work with two concepts, and that's perfectly fine. I think the bottleneck where we are actually hitting a wall is the fact that the Lensex, I mean, any laser OT cannot be sterilized with normal fumigation methodologies. So since it's a closed chamber procedure, so you can carry on with minimalistic fumigation or minimalistic mopping, but otherwise there is no moisture that is allowed to go into the laser room. So if you keep two units and the other for the other procedures, you need the room to be sterilized, right? So that's, I think, where we are hitting the wall at the moment. So how they are going to do that is definitely something that remains to be seen. We'll have to see.
Okay. So I think that should be a big push, integration into a one unit, and prices coming down. That will be a big push.
Absolutely.
The prices won't come down. Your paying capacity will go up. That's simple. Prices will be same. I mean, look at the.
That is true, sir. That is true.
1993, I think BBI got a 93 or 94, the first universal one that cost 7 lakhs. And today, after 25 or 30 years, that level machine with a better ear is only 12 lakhs or 14. If you look at it, the entry level machines which are there. So it's the prices, I mean, it will be relatively, your paying capacity will increase. Your fees have increased from 50 rupees in 1993 to definitely 500 rupees now. I'm living along Shushut and Disha. They are not here. Anyway, but the minimum they make money in other ways. They take a photograph of the retina, they take a photograph of the cornea and they make it. I mean, that's not an issue. How you smart way of making money. That's a different way of, let's not, if 30% of your pay or 40% of your pay that extra, but then see everything else. I mean, it's a matter of time. I mean, technology would come, it will come at a higher price and we will accept it. After 3 lakh ka Maruti and 30 lakh, all those cars are also going in the market. So it will go.
Yeah. The thing is, you have to be open to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is coming in a strong way in coming days, and get yourself prepared. That is the message from Dr. Anurag and Dr. Ajay sir.
No, any luxury car, since the subject of cars came in, and I'm a big enthusiast there, the segment of luxury cars, they are showing more growth in terms of the unit sell in India than the mid segments or even the Marutis. Their progress, their increment per calendar year is more than these cars in terms of unit sales. I'm not talking about the absolute units sold. I'm talking about the growth rate. So obviously there are takers, there are buyers. That's why they're growing.
One important point that through my discussions, one important message that I wanted to convey, although it may look hypothetical, but the real issue that I wanted to convey, that as an ophthalmologist, should we offer a strong resistance to premature delivery of technology?
I just have a point. There's nothing called premature. Technology is always evolving.
It's
At
always
any point
evolving.
of time,
Yes.
I say that this universal, if I had not used Universal 1 or Universal 2 or Legacy, or, I mean, that was the journey. I'm just talking about, or the Infinity or today's Centurion. If I had stopped at that or no, that technology, I mean, you remember those, if you do a grade 2, grade 3 cataract, the cornea would be white. And you would ask the patient to, when our predecessor, Dr. Bakshi, our teacher, whenever the cataract was high, you would ask the patient to put patch for 7 days and come after 7 days. So that the patient, those are 93, 94. I mean, that was the way we did.
I had put the same thing when I went for hands-on in ESCRS in Amsterdam for LensX. And in Lotus, we had that time. And initially, all sorts of complications we had. So I put the same thing. So why you couldn't wait some more time before bringing it to the market? And sir, obviously you can understand the question was not palatable. So that aspect of it I was just trying to discuss. But anyway, that is the way science places itself and technology places itself into the market. So it was wonderful listening to you all.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
was.
I
It was a
think,
a very enlightening session, and in fact, there are always add-ons. Like we have applications in our mobile phone. The same way technology evolves, and we have to change. Change has to be accepted one day or the other, and it is better that we keep ourselves open to the change. And I am very impressed and about by Dr. Anurag's, Dr. Ajay Paul's, how to tips of how to really push, and of course why shouldn't we push, and of course the advantages of the technology that we've seen. I'm sure everybody who has listened to this webinar today has got some points to take home. Beautiful discussions. The discussions I wish could have carried on for hours, as we have many experts here doing flax, but then it's getting late and I think everybody, it's dinner is due for everybody. So let's end. Thank you everybody of the each one of the speakers and panelists. And with this word, I hand over to Dr. Romain Singh
Thank
for
you,
the
ma'am.
final word in this
Thank you.
webinar.
I stay in the extreme east and it is very late here. Everyone is asleep. Anyway, that was a very beautiful webinar. And it's an honor for me to present this vote of thanks for this EIZOC webinar. First, let me thank the speakers first. Thank you, Dr. BP Kashyap, sir. It was a wonderful presentation. And thank you, Dr. Kasturi Bhattacharya, madam, and Dr. Sangeeta Kalita for your beautiful presentation. Thank you, Hari Sankar. You are the youngest, I think, and your presentation was marvelous. And as always, Sir Ajoy Pal, the teacher, the great teacher for everyone, including many of us who have been inspired. Thank you, sir, for your great presentation and your teachings. And now, let me thank the moderators. You two were really outstanding conducting this beautiful presentation, and they're great umpires. And there's nothing more to say. You have kept this talk very alive, by coordinating with everyone. And now let me thank the panelists. Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta and Dr. Anurag Mishra. You really should have a special mention. Thank you for everything. You have really made this webinar very lively today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Arup Bhaumik, sir. Thank you, Ayan Mohanta. Thank you, Dr. Sujit Mishra, sir. You have also really contributed today, and it was very beautiful. All of you coordinating so well, arguing at the same time.
Thank you very much.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I really want to thank Sir Panalal Saha. And it was very nice to know that you are one of our founder members of EIZOC. Thank you, sir, for your presence. And it was very wonderful knowing about you more. And I would like to thank the Ophthalmic Society of West Bengal for being a great host. And I want to thank Sir Dr. Kajal Prasad Ghosh, President of Ophthalmic Society West Bengal. And I would like to thank Sir Dr. Subhasis Nag, Honorary Secretary of Ophthalmic Society of West Bengal. And next, I would like to thank our President, Dr. Abhijit Ghosh, sir. And it will be very a happy moment for me to congratulate and Dr. Pranav Rajan, Secretary, and our Chairman Scientific Committee, Dr. Devasis Das, for your outstanding performance and your will to make this webinar a great success. And I would like to thank the audience who are watching this webinar so patiently. And I would like to thank once again everyone for making this zonal webinar a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for bearing with us. I'm sure.
Thank you, madam.
Sorry that
Thank you, Dr. Raman Singh, for giving the vote of thanks.
Thank you,
I'd
sir.
just like to add over, let us thank our sponsors for today evening.
Yes.
Pharmaceuticals.
Thank you, Anton.
For the platform and the back office we have utilized today. And I ask Anton to give us a video for that.
Especially thank Mr. Raman and Mr. Ashwin for the having of events like this. Every time we wanted, whatever we wanted, we have
using it.
Yeah.
I think
It gives you the confidence that even if the people is
down,
down, we have something to fall back upon.
Yes. Yes.
That we come to the conclusion, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. President,
thank you,
we have
everyone.
completed by 10 today.
Thank you, EIZOC, for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, thank you, for
Devashish
this
da.
opportunity.
Welcome all youngsters. Right.
Thank you, Dr. Sugato. Thank
Next
you,
month
Dr.
we will have our Northeastern program, and we will be happy to announce the program and the shortlisted names very shortly. Is that okay?
We'll meet in April again. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Till
bye
then,
bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Good night. Thank you,
Good
sir.
night.
Thank you so much. Good
Thank you,
night.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.